Welcome in for game number 17 of the Elven Union run. Once again, not much has changed on our team since the last game. We are trying to get Collie up to dodge, and we're trying to get Freezing Star up to the stat roll. Just one more touchdown on either of them would do it. We've spun into dwarves, which is bad news. They've got stupid dwarfy things. They've got lots of guard. They've got mighty blow. They've got stand firm. They've even got a defensive. And they've got, because this is what dwarves are allowed to have now, a movement 7 blodge leader runner. This will be extremely difficult, but we'll give it a crack with a keg and an assistant coach. They've won the coin toss. Don't actually know which I would choose here. The dwarfs are not okay. Correct, Belching Gimme. They are not. They are not. Oh my god, I played an off-stream game. I played an off-stream game where something magnificent happened. I think I'd gone 2-0 up against dwarfs on turn 15. So I then just set up my team in a back line. I was playing with wood elves, and I rolled a blitz, but I'd done a back line, except they hadn't marked the tree. So the tree then blitzed a dwarf and killed it like dead. Which normally I feel bad about, but dwarfs. Without wanting to be repetitive, this is looking very much like a game in which we Daka. Do they have the Troll Slayer? No Troll Slayer. Good to know. They do have some Mighty Blow. They've got Mighty Blow here. There's at least one. I think there's several. Okay, they have got a Blitz, which is annoying, but at least it's a deep kick. 1, 2, 3. 3 Mighty Blow. Quite a lot. Oh, you got to talk about something else. On the outside, dwarves using tackle means dwarves eventually worked. We can dream, can't we? We can dream. Oh good, we have a dead player before the game's even started. Because this matchup didn't look bad enough. We have a dead player before we've even taken a turn. Not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah, very Blood Bowl things. Here's one of the worst matchups you can have. Oh look, -1 player for you before the game started, really. Before anything's happened. Sure, the thing is, I always like forget I've left this on. The problem is when you turn it off, it's just never as clear. Like the blue and the red are really clear, whereas the team colours are never as clear. But we're playing dwarfs, and blue and yellow. They should be easy enough to tell apart, I think. This is interesting. So they're bringing part of their team, but not all of it. Unconventional. So your line is there. We can double rush to blitzers here. I have to do I have to do 3 rushes in total. They have got 4 rerolls. Did they get one off the kickoff? No, because they got blitz off the kickoff. Just got 3 plus leader. It's quite a lot for dwarfs. Don't see that very often because I think they normally try to be more like TV min-maxy, but 4 rerolls for greeting hits, I guess. Not too bad. Stream exactly talk. This is almost certainly, I mean not even almost certainly, this is going to be the last game of this stream. So it's only a mini stream, but had enough time to do a couple of games. And as I said at the start of the stream when no one was here still, I'm just like enjoying this Pro Elf team. Like it's one of the ladder teams I've enjoyed the most in a while, so given there's only 9 days left on the ladder, I just wanted to play us some more. Take the chance to just play some more games on the team I like. Oh, the dwarves are running away. The dwarves thought about picking a fight and then they were like, oh, I don't know, those pro elves look quite hard. Even though they killed one. Thanks, Morgan. Oh, here's a question for everyone. Speaking of elves, who, if anyone, is watching the 2nd season of Rings of Power? Because I'm really curious, because like I remember when Rings of Power and House of the Dragon both came out, I watched both of them, and I was a bit like, I wasn't sure if I loved either of them, but I was like, but I'll keep watching. And now that we've got to the 2nd seasons, I can definitely say I was more excited about, I felt more excited about House of Dragon coming back than I did Rings of Power. So I haven't started Rings of Power yet, but I will. But I really actually like enjoyed the 2nd season of House of Dragon. Like I thought it was good. So I'm curious if people are watching either, both, neither. Belgian Gimme says I am, sadly, which I think is in response to Rings of Power. I haven't started the season yet, so how are they doing it? Are they doing it 1 episode at a time, or are they doing it in batches? I hope you'll notice how we've scared these dwarfs, right? Like these dwarfs came in all hot, killed an elf, and they were like, look how tough and strong we are. Now they're just running away. Because they're like, shit, these elves look strong. I think they saw your masks, guys. I think they saw a kind sir and Collie in the new masks, and they were like, shit. They were like, absolutely no way. Look at those claws. House the Dragon was a much better run show. 10-4. How far do we push up here? Normally turn 4 is kind of my go turn, but I'm kind of liking just like sitting on the edge of their movement and tempting them. So let's do that. The claws scared them off, right? Right? What do you mean by a better run show? Is that like stuff going on behind the scenes, or do you mean like it's just like better scripted, better put together? Because like I haven't been doing all the background reading on these shows, like I'm just watching. Better put together, yeah. Like, as part of me can't tell if it's just like an age thing, and like I like characters who are a bit more shades of grey, and I feel like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon do a bit more of like the characters at least making some effort to feel like more like real characters, whereas Rings of Power is more just like classic fantasy tropes, which is, I feel weird saying that because like obviously that's what Lord of the Rings did, and like Lord of the Rings did it so well, right? Like that was really like arch, like fantasy, like proper, very archetypal, and it was brilliant. So it's not like I'm opposed to that in general, but for I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a telly series. I feel like this works better. I'm not sure. See what happens. Got 10. I've got 3 turns to go. Yeah, that's true, isn't it, kind sir? Like it's much harder to like hold onto the storylines because you're just constantly jumping all over the place. And actually, like on that, even though there is a bit of like movement, House of the Dragons maybe even like better than Games of Thrones for just actually having like a relatively like contained narrative. The problem with Game of Thrones, because I read the books. Well, I didn't read the books in the end. I read them after watching, but I didn't read them. I got them on audiobooks. But yeah, the problem with Game of Thrones is like once I listened to the audiobooks. Mootleys, how are you, Mootleys? Closing in on 2 years. So good to hear from you. I hope you're doing awesome. I was about to say like the my thing with Game of Thrones is like if you read or listen to the books, like he's just completely lost control of the plot. Like he's got a grand vision in his head, and the reason he can't finish that, because at the beginning I was like, how is this guy not finished? And then when you listen to it or read it, I'm sure, you realize he hasn't finished it because it's like it's impossible to finish now. He's like made it too complicated. Like he's built a whole world. He's got characters all over the place. Like it's no wonder he can't finish it because it's massive. Like actually once I like listened to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is much This is much less likely to ever finish than I imagined. What's our play here? No stand firm here, so we could come all the way across and serve. Maybe should. That's maybe our easiest way to just get something through. The other option is to jam the guard in here. 2 dice on, 1, 2 dice. For some reason we haven't got anyone left to go through. It's a 1 dice though. If we hit that. If that powers, that's a 2+ dodge through there. Does kind of have to pow. I guess not, because we're heading this way. So we're going to go 2 into 2. Okay, good. So at least we've got something through. That's something that's important. We just keep you free, don't we? I think we just keep you free. Could bring the ball through, but it starts to get a bit sketch. Because we could all stay here and do this. On the other hand, part of me thinks it's actually right. Oh, we've got some dice to roll. We've got some dice to roll if we want to get this all through. This is probably too aggressive, but we went with it. And it looks like it's gone okay. We've got 4. Hyperbrain, thank you so much for the resub. Weird and proud of it. One of the weirdos for 19 months, almost as much as Smoothies. He's only got himself to blame for it though. I get it's a big word. Yeah. Oh yeah, well it's 2 things, Smoothies. Like, it's like partly his own fault and partly like, the problem is like, I see how this happens because he's got successful and then the story's worth money to the publishers and then it's hard to say no to him, but like it's partly like you just need a better editor as well. Like you need an editor who's willing to say no to you, I think, for that to not get to that point. Okay. KO. We've definitely done a bit of sacrificial basing here. Do you know, I've been thinking if we go in next turn, that's not too bad, right? Because the dwarf 2-turn is hard, but they have got this jerk, haven't they? Which makes the 2-turn better. So now you can get round here. You should play a lot more D&D, do some DMing. Is that the voice of experience? Does DMing help you be a better author? I can believe it. I can definitely believe that it would. So they haven't blitzed yet, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players left. Okay, just goes for the leader throw. They've got 4 rerolls. I think I would have rerolled that just because you've got 4 rerolls. What are you saving them for? It's been really interesting, this like standoffish approach. I don't like instinctively like it. But what it does do is it means you don't get any dwarfs left behind down here, right? So now you've got to this point, you actually are able to have all of your dwarfs forward and in potentially useful squares, right? We're definitely not going to get a stall from here. Are we going to score from here? That is a 1 dice. That is a 1 dice. That is a 1 dice. We could at least make that a 2 dice. Good. Now that will be a 2 dice. Okay, let me just give you a shove. Oh my god, that was some pathing I did not mean to do. Did a 3+2+ there. Definitely did not mean to do 3+2+. Okay, is there any world in which we stall over here if we can... Assuming we can get out. Can outrun that if we go all the way to the corner. Can't out. We can outrun everything except for that if we go all the way to the corner. So maybe... Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more, definitely better, wouldn't it? Like there. Okay. Yeah, that's now pretty tough. It was a little bit, that was a little bit reckless. That was a lot of 2+2s. Like there was a significant chance of it's a snake somewhere along the line there. So I was pretty greedy. But They have got better 2-turning options than most dwarf teams with this movement 7 jerk. I mean, they've even got 1-turning options with that, to be fair. So, seemed worth maybe being more aggressive than we normally would. Frostpaw, I think GOT was only good because the good guys all suffered and died, then they just succeeded and it was dull. I mean, what I liked about it was that it wasn't totally clear all the way through who the good guys were, right? Like, because, like, I think a lot of people wanted Danny to be one of the good guys, and then she wasn't. And I'm not saying they did that well, because they didn't. But, like, yeah. I think that was what I liked about it. Like, I liked that, like, when I was watching it the first time, what I liked about Game of Thrones at the beginning was that, like, a lot of the characters had at least enough, like, relatability in their motives. Like, even, like, Cersei, who's obviously awful, like, she's also just, like, a mother. So she's making decisions that are selfish and awful, but she's doing them for reasons that at least have some relatability to them. I think that's like what made it for me, is like it's the motives for most of course there were a couple of them who were just like awful, like Joffrey. But like even I was going to say like even like Ramsay Bolton, no, not Ramsay Bolton, Roose Bolton was like a good bad guy because like again like he had his motives that you could understand that weren't just like I'm evil. They were all about power. Okay, so we have got to roll some dice, but we have got a chance to serve this runner. Or we could double skull. They actually have a choice here now, right? Because they either let us power them, or they actually could have another chance of me double sculling, but risk being served. They let me power them. KO. KO's not bad. KO's not bad. Oh, they've used the Apo. Okay, we get our 10-8 score. That's good. KO's come back. That's good. And we got the touchdown on Freezing Star, didn't we? So as long as Freezing Star could just not die the rest of the game, which is an if, because we're playing dwarves. But if Freezing Star can just be alive at the end of the game, we'll get to roll a stat on him. If the story gets too bloated in terms of characters, you can just repurpose them for another campaign. It's been 12 years since I played, but the DM back then had like 12 pages of background for one Blacksmith's Apprentice. That's amazing. That one became a last second NPC party member after someone dropped out and it worked perfectly. Joffrey was perpetually neglected by one parent and enabled without anyone stepping in by the other. Kid never really had a chance. It's really interesting, like conversation actually I had with an author friend of mine, and we were talking about writing characters, and she was saying like, because she was like reading over something I'd been writing, just like a bit of writing for fun, and like we were both agreeing basically that I was over explaining the characters' motives. Oh, solid defense. Sorry, that's my thing. Which I already knew, and I was talking about that with her, and she was saying like that she finds it totally helpful to like write down everything you know about a character. Just do that, but like do it for yourself. Like don't do that. That doesn't all have to be on the page. Like write down everything you know about the character, because then you have that you know about the character, and then like from knowing that, from having everything that you know about the character, then you can decide what the audience needs to see and like needs to read. And I thought that was really interesting insight, and fits with what you're saying about the DM and the like having that background on a character. Oh, that is putting us down below 11 for the second half. But it still like helps you to know that, and that does feel like that's the other side of like the George R. R. Martin thing, doesn't it? Like he's like feels like he needs to tell everyone everything, which was always, it's actually why I didn't read his books. It's why I did the audiobooks, is I found them frustrating to read, because I was just like, there's too much information in some of these scenes. Like you don't need to know all of this. Another badly hurt. This is looking likely to be a draw, because we're gonna have to put a second half on 9, unfortunately. But at least we will. Well, I shouldn't say we won't lose, because we can lose, but the loss is not so likely when you're 1-0 up against dwarfs, because dwarfs aren't so likely to try to go for 2 scores and a half. Boy, we really haven't got players to put in the way here, have we? Have to put up players we don't want to in this line. Oh god, Tolkien's so hard to get into, like reading, isn't it? Like he does, and that's the thing. That's what I came to like appreciate with GRRM. Stop saying his full name, but what I came to appreciate with him, like having sort of watched first and then did the audiobooks, is I do think he's like a really amazing world builder. Like he's got, because he's got like an amazing like full vision in his head of everything going on. He is actually like, he's created a whole cool world which has lots about it that's really tangible, which I think is hard to do well. It's just that he's telling you too much of it. And Tolkien is like it's like reading history books, which we were talking about on the last stream. That's what I studied at university, so I've read history books. I've done that plenty, but yeah, it's not always what you want to do for enjoyment. Some people do. Quick snap. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm getting updates from Collie at a tabletop tournament. It sounds like she's going really well. Bombadil's killed my last 3 attempts. Yeah, Tom Bombadil. It's a whole sidetrack, isn't it? Okay, well, dwarfs retreating like this, I think, again, puts us in a position where we're very unlikely to lose the game from here. Draw is the most likely result, I think, because even though we're 1-0 up, they've got a 2-player advantage, and once they get this ball into a cage, it's going to be very hard for us to stop it. With 9 elves, maybe fewer than 9 elves by the time they've done taking the line. But I think with the kick being so deep, it's very unlikely they push for a win. So that means that at some point in this drive, maybe we'll get a chance to be aggressive and try to force a turnover. Because if we're playing in a situation where our worst case is a draw, like at some point you can start just taking the risks. Because the draw is a draw. Practically a dwarf Daka. They have got some risk of splitting their team here, which is usually good news for elves. Again, the problem is just we don't have enough elves. If we had 11 elves to stick into this gap, that'd be amazing. Oh, or if they could just keep failing pickups, that could also be amazing. Well. Let's just see what we can do with this, hey? Definitely interested in trying to split their team. So let's do that bit first. I have to do some rushes for the blitz, but I think we do take the blitz. Because we want to put the pressure on. Just like forces another player out of like the cage they're going to get next turn, so that's why I think it's worth doing. I wasn't going to reroll that, which is why I just clicked it all together. I really like playing elves with the 3 rerolls plus the leader. I just find that 4th reroll lets you be so much more relaxed about spending that reroll early in a drive, which I think is really powerful. A dwarf Daka, maybe. But like this is uncomfortable now, right? Like you can pick it up and put it into a cage, but your cage is going to be all of your players here, right? So you can't use these to blitz, so you're going to use one of these to blitz. So yeah, I still think the most likely outcome of this drive, because it's dwarfs against 9 elves, is going to be that they get their touchdown and draw. But I think we're going to have a chance to at least make them sweat here. I think they're already, like, this is, if you're looking at this on this side, let's do the blue-red, like, you're not excited about this turn. Especially because you just failed a pickup, and now you're thinking, could I fail that pickup again? I think this whole run we've played the Elf Union quite aggressively on defence. And I think we've been probably fairly lucky not to have more games where they just get completely annihilated, because they really can with AV8. But it's been fun showing off like what they can do when that doesn't happen. Okay, that hasn't got block, sadly. Does need block, but doesn't have it. So I'm guessing the ball comes here, which again does leave half your team over there. Because you've done that first as well, like now if you fail this pickup, it's just, I mean, I suppose if you fail the pickup, you know you're probably just doomed anyway. But yeah, for sure if they fail the pickup here, we're taking the ball. this is, I think, definitely the right move. Like, tag everything up, make me have to roll those 2 pluses on everybody. It's the most fun, isn't it, T-Self? Like, it's, I don't know, like, it's the stuff that I actually, like, enjoy in Blood Bowl. Like, it's the stuff that makes me want to play games, is when you get to do these fun, like, get in people's faces plays. Ah, I made the picker. It's a shame. Okay. So, options. They have got the defensive in a good square here, but we definitely could still get a 2 dice on this because of the guard. Or we could try to surf that. I think we want to hit this. Boo. That's a shame. Spent the reroll on it as well. Oh well. Plan was bring that out there to complete the screen, then dodge this one, hit that one for 2 dice, and then we've got a nice wall here. I think that failing actually does weaken this quite a lot for us, unfortunately. This week I finally mustered the courage and played 10 games with elves. Yes! Really liked it. Guess I am only 98% bash coach. I like with abilities you're able to find ways out of impossible situations. This is like genuinely like the thing that I find hard now when I don't play elves. Like, I'm so used to always having some option. Like with elves, there's always some play you can do. Maybe it's not your first choice, maybe it's not how you hope the play would turn out, but it gives you something. Whereas when you play another team, like sometimes you end up in these situations where you're just done, and I hate it. Like elves give you like more outs for sure. Yeah, the puzzle solving. Exactly that. Like, it's way more interesting than just murdering things. And I appreciate not all bash coaching is just murdering things either. Like, for sure not. But I enjoy the elf puzzle solving. I think this is going to get really bad now. I think that last turn we were rolling a lot of dice, so you can't complain too much. Well, of course you can. But I'm not going to complain too much about the fail because we did roll a bunch of dice, but I do think that was a really important. It was a turn we needed to make all the dice because we need to keep that pressure on them. Oh, having said that, that is definitely a little bit interesting, isn't it? Step in here and you're assisting this and you're on the ball carrier. Well, that's definitely made things a bit more interesting. Shame our wrestle piece is out because we haven't got our... Oh, our tackle piece is here. Okay, I've got a tackle piece. Ah, stupid dwarf 1 dices. You were supposed to be on the floor. Oh, skull. Not skull. But we have block. So that was just a 2 dice. That has stand firm. So we can't push that away. Neither of those have guard. Stand firm, that's smart. They've put stand firm in a good square. We do all of that, we could get a 1 dice at the end. It's supposed to be like a 6. It's not like it's amazing. Oh, that's not what we needed. That's not what we needed. They're going to stand firm, but that's fine. Boo. Okay, you've got to do your job. Get punched again. Yeah, it's a shame we weren't able to get a hit off it, but we just weren't. Like, if we'd powered that with the first one, it might have created some opportunity to dodge in here and do it, but... Keeps us there. Do you know what? The more hits you can tank Collie, the better. It's all good for us. Sadly, that was the last one. As I say that, she stops tanking the hits. Okay, that's fine. That is not fine. Probably have to live with that one because it is just an MNG. But it's a shame. It's definitely a shame. See, normally I'd be telling myself, well, at least it's turn 12 and there's still way back here, but that ball carrier's bloody movement 7. So it feels a bit less good than it should. I mean, I guess it's still something, but yeah. Normally, dwarf ball carrier back here is more good news than it feels like right now. We're just going to run out of elves. This is kind of how I expected this half to go. Starting on 9 elves. As soon as you lose any more, you just suddenly haven't got any elves. And I think we had to play aggressively with the situation we had, and we did create a couple of nice pressure turns. And the thing is, like, even though that ball carries fast, at some point they may have to leave behind all these movement 4 guys, right? So it's not done yet. We're definitely looking pretty thin here, but it's not done yet. Gonna come back here with the ball. I'm gonna hit this first and see what happens. You're gonna double power. Okay. Whichever way I go, you can make a cage for me, I think. So I'm just gonna go this way. Oh my god, these are the high armor pieces. These are the ones who aren't supposed to just get removed. Okay, well that really is it, isn't it? We're not going to be able to... We're not going to be able to slow them down anymore without either of our blitzes on the pitch. It's a shame. That is a shame, and also that is what happens playing elves against dwarfs. So I was going to say, not even the tackle, just roll the powers anyway. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elves left. Can I get 1 dice on the ball here? I can get 1 dice on the ball with wrestle here, and I think I have to try. Because I think there's not going to be another chance that's as good as this. This isn't like an amazing chance. I just think there's not going to be one that's better. So it's a 3+ with tackle, then a 2+ not off tackle, and a 2+ rush for 1 dice on the ball. Oh, couldn't you make the 3+? Just snaked it. Alright, okay. GG, I think that is. That was not at all like awful odds, right? Like that's a 3+, 2+, 2+, and then you get a 5+ knockdown. Like the odds are definitely on you getting there. The odds on the knockdown are not amazing, but the odds on getting there are good. But not to be. Not to be. I don't think we're going to have another chance to hit this when it's not in a cage, so I think it had to be gone for. I do also feel like they've powered us like every hit the last few turns. I guess they didn't on that one where they pushed onto the ball. But yeah, this is like a constant stream of hit and removal. It's another removal. This is just like, yeah, the opposite side of, hey, I like fun puzzle solving Blood Bowl. But there's also this kind of Blood Bowl, which is not puzzle solving, it's just punch, punch, punch. Endorphin rush from opponent's players disappearing off the pitch. Not my thing, but it is Dwarf's thing. Endorphin rush, exactly. That's a shame. I felt like we had a chance to win this for a second there, but the draw's not too bad. I think if you looked at the rosters and then said we were going to have a player die before turn 1, probably a draw would have been on the list of okay results. And we rolled some pretty cheeky, like lots of 2s on our offensive drive, to be fair, so I caught some dice on my drive for sure. I was very aggressive with the 2+ rolling on my drive. So I guess we both leaned into the things our teams do. And the good news is, as long as Freezing Star doesn't die, next game we'll have movement 9 or agility 1+. Because I think we always get the option to choose at least one of those two. It does feel like every hit this half has been an armor break, which, to be fair, again, like we were talking about the game against Keith, like the previous game where we didn't actually take that many removals for the amount of hits. It's going to happen sometimes when you've got low armor. problem is they have got 2 stand firms, so the 1 turn is going to be almost impossible between the guard and the stand firm, and the fact that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 7 players max, so I think probably it's more than almost impossible. I think it's just impossible. Yeah, 1 reroll. I think it's not even about the reroll. Like, it's just like, is it like mathematically possible? I think it's probably not even like mathematically possible with not having more players, or at least like a sidestep or a sure feet, a short sidestep or a sprint. Sorry, because there just won't be enough players to create the pushes with the stand firm, even if we roll well enough, which will be difficult. We keep the reroll just in case we get a quick snap or a timeout. I think like the odds of turning them over are so low. It's not worth spending the reroll on that. Yeah, it's become an OG. I don't know. It's been an interesting game. I think like the first half was Daka that we pushed our luck on and we got away with, and then the second half against a pretty intimidating situation. Like we were down 2 players at the start of the drive. I think we made it quite difficult for them, but there was a tipping point where too many elves died, and they got out of the mess that it looked like they might be in for a moment. So it's become an idea. But how are you, Deadams? Well, only 1 elf died. There are some elves who are hurt, but only 1 elf died. That's the one good news, actually. Like, everything here is like badly hurt or seriously hurt. There's only 1 seriously hurt. That's a shame, seriously hurt, because Collie... God, I feel like Collie's never going to get to dodge. Like, she randomed the guard, and that was amazing, but it just feels like it's taking forever to get her the extra SPP to get dodge now. It's all she needs, and she's like a finished player. Like, guard and dodge is it. No perms on anyone. Like one seriously hurt, which is just like the new MNG. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, even if we get a timeout, this will be hard. But if we get a timeout, there's some chance. 1, 2, a 6, not 5. We definitely can't 1-10 this. I think even without the stand firm, we probably can't 1-10 this in 6 players. I think it's probably not possible. It's sad you're not a support. I don't want to spoil or anything, but it sounds like Collie's doing really well. Sounds like Collie has won her first 2 games and is at least in with a shout on the 3rd one. We're getting updates. Andy won his first 2 games as well. They're not playing each other in the 3rd round though. Yeah, she's 2-0 and she was 1-1 going into her drive against Raging. So yeah, 1-1 about to take the ball against Raging. Raging's a good coach too. Yeah, no, that's just what happens to me, Gardens. That's my story. Twice this year. Once an individual, once in a team event. Well, technically we got given the draw in the team event because they messed up the strength of schedule until afterwards, but 2 tournaments this year where I've either on my own gone perfectly or my team has, and then Andy has strength of scheduled on me. If we get a quick snap here, I think it's doable. So let's set up for the quick snap. Quick snap here. Have you here for the first hit. And I mean, it's still be bloody hard, but we'll have our blitz free after that. We'll have our blitz free after that. Not a quick snap, not a timeout, so we're not getting it. Boo! Alright, let's just punch a dwarf. Punch a dwarf instead. And then let's... We've got a reroll left, yeah we do. Come on, let's make it easier. Let's throw a pass.
Not a wise place to end your turn on the border of the pitch.
Okay. Well, a draw. Not what we hoped to get. We always like to play for the wins, but it's not a bad draw. It was a tough matchup against the dwarfs. And we did get one of the two things we wanted from the game, which was a level on Freezing Star. We've been saving up for the stat. Drum roll. Movement or armor value, we're taking movement. So now we have a better one-turner. That's awesome. So now we can, yeah, get them sidestep and sprint and happy days. But even without sidestep and sprint, now I only need 2 pushes on our 1-turn attempts. That's really nice. We've got an MNG next game, so we're going to hire another lineman. Bringing us to 13. Guinness will stay on the team for now as our extra. I don't know who it was who died. So Ichigakutu, must have been Ichigakutu because I didn't put them on last time because I said they were already on the team and now I don't see them on the team. So they do in fact happen to be the next name on the list, so we can just buy them straight back in. Just make extra sure, yeah. I don't see them there, so customization. And we gave them all the new head, didn't we? So there we go. Alright, that was game number 17 on the Pro Elves. Didn't manage to get the win this time, but didn't lose either. Team is still rocking along. Does feel like the development on the team has really slowed down the last few games. I don't know if that's just my perception. Maybe like the MVPs aren't falling in the place we really want them to. Because like I would have expected we would have got this block by now. And I'm frustrated we haven't got close to getting Dodge on Collie. But the movement up on Freezing Star is nice. And the team's still ticking along. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.